Thanks for checking out my third installment of the United Truck Driving School for week 3. To be honest, it was a pretty interesting week, pretty different than the first two with, the classroom learning, getting an idea of, getting the pre-inspection, and the in-cab inspection, the air brake test with the truck. So we finally got out to the yard on Monday, and we actually went in pretty early, an hour earlier at 6 a.m. Apparently some guys from previous weeks, I'm not sure if they were exactly the last class or a culmination of a couple, but there was about 5 guys that had to retake their tests because they apparently failed. Later, one of the instructors told us that that was the most they'd ever had, so we were all kind of on the fence as far as, is this typical? Are we going to pass? Are we going to have to come back? Because I know you can pay for extra time. I believe it's $200 a day or $1,000 per week, and I definitely don't want to do that. So I'm aiming to get it done, first try. We do have our DMV test set up for Thursday this week of week 4, and then they also set up some appointments on Friday. So if we for some reason failed, we'll be good to go. Hopefully get it done within the week. So Monday came around. We went to the DMV, spent about 4 hours. I think one guy of 5 passed, which was pretty unfortunate. And then we ended up working on just straight line backing, just taking the truck 200 feet up, 200 feet back, 200 feet up, 200 feet back. And at the DMV, you only have to do 100 feet, so it was extra practice. And I was the only one of me and the other 2 guys in our group that didn't hit a cone at all, so I was pretty stoked. Didn't hit anything, was getting the hang of it, pretty simple. And then day 2, we had to go to the DMV again, which we weren't stoked on. Who knows, maybe we'll be in that position. I don't want to be, but it's kind of one of those things you just got to understand that, it could be you. So we went to the DMV, waited around for another 3 hours, and forget who it was who went. I think he went again on Monday, tried again Tuesday, and he failed again. And this guy, he was kind of a jackass, to be honest, so we weren't surprised at all. So now he's got to that was his 3rd try, now he's got to retake all the permit tests, everything. So a lot of it is just taking ownership. It's up to you to kind of be aware of how to get this done. It's not all in the school. So I still have confidence in the school. We're still having a great time. And then we got back and we just did some more straight line backing. Again, I did it pretty much perfectly. And then we also did offset backing, going right to left, left to right. And then we did parallel parking, which was pretty simple. It's pretty much the same thing, just getting it right in the pocket. That day, Wednesday, we thought it would be just us, and turns out there was one guy who had been paying an extra $1,000 for an extra week, who had come on to work with us that week. So, cycling in an extra person with 3 people, it ended up taking off about an hour of each of our time. So we weren't too stoked, but again, we understood. That next day, we went to the DMV. So that was all Tuesday. Next day, that guy went to the DMV. He failed right away. He didn't read his gauges right. He screwed some stuff up. He wasn't thinking for himself. And that's what you got to do. You got to take what the instructor teaches you, but then apply it. Not just, if your gauges aren't correct, don't say they're correct. If they're not, that's just, lack of thought. So Thursday came around and we were like, all right, sweet. It's going to be just us. Right when we get there, there's another guy that had failed on Monday. And so we're like, all right, DMV again. Here's 3 hours of our freaking day. And so that guy had already passed the pre-trip, all that stuff. He passed his skills. He didn't have to do alley docking, which is the 4th of all the skills tests. He fortunately got parallel parking, because you have to do straight line backing, you have to do offset backing, and then you get a choice. The DMV chooses whether you do alley docking or parallel. He got parallel, he passed it, he took the test, and unfortunately he came back. We thought he'd failed. Turns out the truck, there was a leak, and the trailer brakes had come on. So he's going to have to take his in a week. So it was kind of a bum for him. He was doing what he needed to do, but it's going to take him another week to get it done, because that's when the next available appointment is. So all right, so we're kind of, all right, 4 days of DMV. We kind of told the guys, the instructors, like, hey, this isn't necessarily, ideal for us. So they're actually throwing extra time our way. We got an extra hour on Thursday, I think, an extra hour and a half Friday. We're gonna get an extra hour Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. And so we're kind of going with the flow of it. But then Friday came around. Well, actually, Wednesday we finally did a bit of driving, um, where we went up to a little bit up north and into kind of a secluded commercial area, and just kind of went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was a bit tough getting the double clutching, getting all that stuff down initially, but it finally clicked with me. I ended up being the first one to start driving back to the school down a long road, 67 from Poway to Lakeside, which is a pretty steep downhill grade, and I did it pretty well and handled it, which is cool. And so that was Wednesday, first day of driving. And then Friday, we finally did some more driving where we actually went towards over by the course, the actual DMV course on the road, and got some driving in, several loops each. Feeling pretty confident overall. I finally got to drive on the freeway, and there's little things like knowing when to brake, knowing to take your turns wide. I hit one curb during one of my turns, which was unfortunate, but we're definitely learning. We're definitely having fun still. And so now we got all day Monday, all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday of next week to make sure we got our skills. The truck we learned on the pre-trip inspection at the school is a little different than the truck we're driving with, so we got to make sure we got everything going. But hopefully next time you hear from me, I will have my license, and I will be good to go for orientation the third week of August with 2 different companies. So thanks for checking it out.